December 7th, 2017. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 142 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting across from me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
Welcome back, Dr. Mike.
Thank you.
From your big trip to Las Vegas.
Yeah,
We're going to talk about
wonderful
that.
Las
We're going to
Vegas.
talk about that very soon. A couple weeks ago, we were out at Harrah's, Southern California, as we often do, and we met up with Joe Q, a.k.a. Captain Vegas, on Twitter. Joe was actually part of the Oceans 14 XL group that went to Vegas here at the end of October.
Okay.
And he was on Faces and Aces to talk about that trip. And he's actually a local boy. He lives here in San Diego.
He lives like close to my house.
Yeah, exactly.
Like in the same neighborhood almost.
So it was nice to meet him finally. He had already been playing at some of the craps tables when we arrived. So he was basically done. He didn't have very good luck. But he sat with us.
For most of the night.
Yeah, most of the night. It was actually very nice. He was giving a very good encouragement, and we would, between rolls, just talk about stuff. Joe, you'll be happy to know that after you left, we did have a comeback. There was actually a very good comeback. Your dad got the dice and rolled, and
he had a monster roll.
Yeah, that was great. So we did end up winning for the night. So
yeah, because the whole time Joe was there, we were not doing too well.
No, we
Things
weren't.
were going poorly.
No.
And then my dad rolled after he left and had a great roll,
Yeah.
and we ended up all going home winners.
Yeah,
So,
so-
it was a nice trip right home.
Yes, that's always nicer when we have a win. Now, I've got kind of an interesting story here. My son, David, who is 19 now, he's able to go to some of the casinos around town.
Yeah, there's a few that are 18 and above.
Right, yes. And so he went out with his buddy this last weekend, and he won a ton of money. Now, I talked to him afterwards, said, how'd you win all this money? When I found out it was, it wasn't like life-changing kind of money, but for a 19-year-old, it was a good sum of money.
It was a very good sum of money, yeah.
And so I said, well, how'd you do it? And he was just playing stadium blackjack. Which is what he likes to do. And it's nice because he can play with his friends. They all get the same hand and what have you. So he played that, but his friend did not win. I guess during the course of the evening, my son walked away to go do something while his friend continued to play. And so they weren't always playing
As
together.
usual, you're playing right next to each other. You think things would come out the same, but it doesn't for some reason.
So his friend lost, and later in the evening, once they had come home, I dropped him off at just a taco shop over here. Now I said, now, David, be sure that you buy your friend dinner. And he was like, well, why? Because you won big and your friend lost. I had to teach him.
Yeah.
And this is very important gambler's etiquette. Boy, if you're the winner and everybody else in your party loses, or if you're just the big winner, say,
right,
you got to at least buy a meal.
Right, exactly.
Right? I mean,
you
that's
buy the food.
The
That's
least amount.
The least you can do.
Yeah.
I would have suggested his friend lost $60.
Right, which is not much.
Not
but
much.
still,
I
for a
would've-
19-year-old,
if
it's
you
a
had
lot.
lost 60 and I had won, I would have just given you 60.
That's
and then we both go home winners,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. That's another etiquette. That's a little more than above.
A little more than above. I couldn't ask him to do that, but okay.
the dinner, definitely, you have to buy dinner.
You have to buy dinner. This is good advice for everybody out there, too. If you have that big win, shell out a little bit for a meal.
Yeah. You don't yell 6 ace in your face and walk away. Right?
Walk away, right? You want to ride home? All right. So the great gift wrap up. Mike, tell us all about it. As everybody remembers from the last episode, this was the trip where basically everybody I knew went to Vegas without me. And even since the last episode, my dad decided to go. And my dad, he is not a gambler.
He does not gamble.
He is not a Vegas person at all. But
As a matter of fact, when we're in Vegas, Mark texted me with a picture of the voucher that his son cashed out, and it just said David Duvall.
Right, it's the same name. So my son and my dad have the same name. Yes, right.
And I saw that, and I turned to Lynn and I said, holy they got Dave to gamble.
Right.
Because he does not gamble.
No, he doesn't, yeah.
And I was like amazed. And then I asked your sister, and she said, no, that's David, your son. And my response was still, holy how'd he win that much money?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, well, so everybody went but me. So I was left home. I did dog sit while I was here. That was fine. So she was a good dog. But tell us about the trip, Mike. You left Friday morning early,
We left
right?
early Friday morning. It was a nice drive. I will say this.
I heard that from everybody, that there wasn't a lot of traffic
There
going
was not
there
a lot
or
of
coming back
traffic
on Sunday.
going or coming. Yes, that was really the best part of the trip almost. There was no traffic. On the way up there, we stopped at Harrah's Rincon to get our Friday coupon.
Oh, that's right, because you have a Friday coupon, and plus you were able to cash in a weekly free play, right?
A weekly and a Friday. So
Okay.
we cashed that in and we got that, and that was good.
Mm-hmm.
And then we ventured on to Vegas. Nothing exciting to report, except we did stop at State Line at Prim, which my dad slept through that whole stop. He fell asleep in the back. He was watching the desert the whole way, talking about how beautiful the desert was. We get to State Line, he falls asleep. But he was in the back, so we just parked. We didn't need gas. We just stopped because we had to go to the bathroom, and we bought snowballs and Mountain Dew.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
that was a big story in my family's car.
Yeah.
They left about a couple hours after you, and you had texted them, said, yep, I bought a Mountain Dew and a snowball.
Yeah.
And the snowball grosses out a lot of people. I'm fine with them.
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, it's chocolate, marshmallow cream, coconut. I mean, it's a piece of heaven. The inventor of the snowball just got a free ticket right to heaven.
And wash it down with some Mountain Dew?
Oh,
my goodness.
I mean, we were fine in our car the last 40 miles. So we headed on into Vegas. We got there. We were staying at Harrah's. So we went to Harrah's and checked in. My brother, who had left Los Angeles a lot earlier in the morning, like at 5 a.m. or something, was already there. He'd been there for a while because for him, it's only like a 2.5, 3 hour
he's coming
drive.
from the LA area, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he got there and he met us at Harrah's.
And you stayed at Harrah's because your host is actually stationed at Harrah's, right?
She's based at Harrah's. And she always says, why don't you stay here? Why don't you stay here? You never stay here. I mean, I stay everywhere else.
Yeah, right.
Well, the rooms are old and the casino's small and old.
Yeah.
But I decided this time I was going to stay for two reasons. Number one, it's easier for my dad to get around.
Oh, yeah, kind of a smaller casino. You can get
Right.
back.
So if he wants to stay up past we go to bed, it's easier for him to find his way
that's
back
true.
and stuff.
Yeah, good.
And also, they had redone the rooms there. Mm-hmm. So, I said, well, okay, we'll give it a shot. And actually, it was good in that respect. The rooms are very nice. They redid them. It kind of looked like they took maybe two rooms and combined them.
Okay, so you were in a suite with
Like a mini suite.
A mini suite that may have been two rooms.
It may have been two rooms at one point because it was pretty big. It was a lot bigger than the Harrah's rooms I remember.
Okay.
So they must have combined some rooms and, all new. So it was nice.
Good.
They were nice. I didn't have any hot water on my sink. My wife's sink worked perfectly.
Okay.
I had no hot water on my sink
Well,
for
that
some
was
reason.
chivalrous of you to take the non-hot water sink.
Yes. And I can deal with the cold water.
Okay.
If anyone knows cold, it's me.
All right.
So anyway, we started playing that morning and actually we got there about 1 o'clock.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right when I was texting you.
Yeah, I was thinking it was about 1 o'clock because of all the stopping we made on the way. Yeah. But by the time we got there, we started playing. It did not go well.
And I guess we should just say up front, this, as far as gambling goes, this was not a good trip for you. So there's no big story coming.
There's no big story. Well, the last night I had a little bit of
you got some back, but there was...
Yeah, I got a third of my losses back,
Okay,
but
all
it
right.
wasn't a great run.
Okay.
Yeah, the gambling wasn't too good. But while we were playing, a couple walked up and they said, "Oh, are you Dr. Mike?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And, I wasn't expecting that. Anyway, it turns out it was Brian and Lauren from St. Louis.
Okay.
And they were there. They were actually leaving, I think, Saturday morning. Mm-hmm. And I didn't quite get if they were there for the gift wrap or what their reason was. But anyway, we talked to them for a while. Very nice couple. And they said, well, we didn't know what you look like, but we knew you were here with your dad and wife. And when we saw your dad sitting there, my dad was playing craps with us with a sweater vest and an older man,
It was the scooter like right next to him.
The scooter was right next to him, yeah. So they immediately said, well, that must be them.
Okay.
And we were talking to each other. On our side of the table, it was only me, my wife, my dad, and my brother.
Okay.
As the only people on that side of the table.
Yeah.
So anyway, it was nice to meet them. Very nice couple.
Good.
And so it sounded like they were having a good time in Vegas.
Good.
And the rest of the morning didn't go so good, but we ended up going over to Planet Hollywood, and it was up and down there. It was much better than Harrah's. We got wiped out at Harrah's. Okay. Planet Hollywood actually was pretty much even for the trip. I mean, it wasn't lost a little towards the end, but it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, well, we like playing there.
Yeah, and it was good. And the dealers were great as usual. Everything went good there. We saw Krishna.
Oh, yeah. We met Krishna a couple of Vimps ago.
Right.
And we saw her at the summit, this last summit, too.
And she stopped by and said hi.
Oh,
we were
very
playing,
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was, just out of the blue, there she was.
Yeah.
So that was nice seeing her. And gosh, not a lot to tell. We came back later that night, Friday night, back to Harrah's. And we met David and Julie, our friends David and Julie from here in San Diego. And they had a friend of theirs with them. They called him Big Lair.
Okay.
And I think his name was Larry, but Big Lair, who was from Rochester, Minnesota, which is very close to where my wife's from. He knew all about her hometown football team, who has won the state championship like 8 of the last 10 years or something. They're like a dynasty in Minnesota. So they talked about that. Actually, we went to the Diamond Lounge with them, and
So did you go anywhere for dinner that night, or
no? We did not. We had a late lunch, like about 3:00. We ate a lunch.
Okay,
and then we just went to the Diamond Lounge and we had some snacks.
Okay, all right.
But the Diamond Lounge at Harrah's was nice.
It's so funny, Mike. I don't think I've ever been in there.
No, it was pretty nice. There was a long line of people to get in,
but you probably
it was full. And I walked up and there was a lady standing there said, "I'm 7 stars, just right in." And boy, the looks I got from the people from the line.
From the Diamond. The stinking Diamond people.
There was a lady right at the front.
Wait, I'm Diamond.
And she just shot darts. I mean, my wife and I were kind of I felt bad. Anyway, we went in. It was nice. The drinks they made there, we had some drinks. And they made a margarita. Man, that thing was like half tequila. It was so strong. Yeah. But Lynn and I were like, wow. So we had 2 of those, but they were poured heavy.
Yeah, okay.
And David said that he knew the bartender in there, and he always pours them heavy. He said, "Oh my gosh, you really get your money's worth here."
All right, well, benefit of being Diamond. Good.
Yeah, okay. I guess. Yeah. Anyway, it was a nice Diamond Lounge. I mean, the food was, just snack stuff.
Yeah, we have never come across Diamond Lounges as good as the ones that we had in Atlantic City.
Right.
And certainly the 7-star lounges in Atlantic City were out of this world.
I mean, that was out of this world. I mean, they were great. Yeah. But it was okay. And, they were there for drinks.
Oh,
really.
Yeah, right. That's
and
it.
So,
sure.
The drinks were great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty much how the night went. Saturday, we got up and we went over to Planet Hollywood in the morning. First thing, met my brother and dad. My dad stayed with my brother the first night. He stayed with us the second night.
Okay.
But that first night, they stayed at Bally's.
Oh, okay.
So we all met at Planet Hollywood and we went to Cafe Hollywood.
Oh, it used to be Planet Dailies, right? And they redid it after the flood. Yeah.
The food was good.
Okay.
I'll say excellent. It was very good food, lots of food. It was breakfast food. Yeah. So, not that hard to mess up. But the food was very good. Is a little pricey.
Okay.
It was like $97 for the 4 of us.
Were you able to put it on your total rewards, on your points?
Well, they do not accept total rewards there.
Oh, okay.
But they did let me put it on my room.
Okay. All right.
Harrah's,
Interesting. Okay.
Which I just wrote off later.
Oh, okay. So maybe the food credit that you got as part of the package for your trip maybe covered it. But if you just wanted to go in and use your reward credits.
Yeah, because when I handed her my card, she said, "Oh, we don't take rewards."
Okay.
And I'm like, "Well, I want to put it on my room." "Oh, okay, we can do that."
Oh, interesting.
So,
okay.
So I don't know how that worked.
Yeah.
And I wonder if I got it confused, but she made a thing when I handed her my card about, no, you can't use this.
And there certainly are restaurants that we've come across, at these Caesars properties where you just can't use reward credits.
Reward credits. Yeah, I'm still kind of confused whether they take them or not.
Okay.
But anyway, we didn't have to pay because I put it on the room and I had a food voucher.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, that worked out good. The food was good there. The only problem, the wait was a while. It did take a while to get the food.
Like how long?
Over a half hour.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
They were busy and, I don't know. But yeah, it was over a half hour. So that started my trek into 8 hours in Vegas without gambling.
So you did
new personal record.
Really?
8 hours, at a minimum 8 hours in Vegas without betting anything.
And we should qualify 8 waking hours.
8 waking hours. Yeah, I did not sleep. I texted Mark and I said, I've been here 8 hours and I haven't gambled and I haven't slept.
Wow. Okay.
So we left there and we went back to Caesars to the great gift wrap up.
Yes.
And that was a cluster, you know what.
That's what I heard. My sister was talking about it. I guess it was a disaster.
Yes. Well, evidently, whoever booked it forgot to book the ballroom.
And the ballroom is where it's been in the past?
That's always where it's been in the past. They have this huge ballroom. I mean, it's huge.
Yeah.
And they forgot to book it, and then it got booked to some Marine Christmas party or something.
Okay. So the ballroom was not available, right?
The ballroom was not available, so they had a tent in the parking lot set up.
For the great gift wrap-up?
For the great gift wrap-up.
Okay.
It was very tight in there.
Really?
There was a lot of people, companies with their stuff, showing their stuff so you could see what you wanted to buy. very, very tight. Your poor mom's in a wheelchair and your sister's pushing her.
Yeah.
And I mean, some areas they just didn't even go in.
Yeah.
It was like, no, don't even head over that way. It's so packed.
Yeah, we heard about that. We heard about huge long lines.
My dad got in there and saw it. He's in his scooter. He just went to an open area and just sat there the whole time.
Yeah.
And we all shopped and, he told us what he wanted.
Now tell me if you had heard this. I heard through my sister that your dad saw other people in scooters running over people, like their feet and stuff.
My dad was stopped and it was crowded. So some lady in a scooter ran over like 5 people. Yeah. She hit like 5 people.
Yeah.
It was like one of those cars that's driving and all of a sudden veers over and hits like 5 parked cars. That was her. Just veered over, boom, 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 right down the line. Oh my
gosh. Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Wow. They're going to get some bad feedback about this.
Yeah, it was hot in there. Now it's not particularly hot outside, but you're in a tent with all those people crammed in there, just all those bodies. So it's hot, it's uncomfortable.
And no restrooms, I heard,
no
right?
restrooms.
Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
You got to go all the way back to the casino for a restroom. And then there was a line to get in.
Yeah.
So it's all diamonds and 7 stars. So everyone's you just wait in a line because it can only let so many people in the tent at a time.
Yeah. Oh God.
So, some people are waiting outside in line. We happened to get there when there was no line, but when we left, there was a huge line.
Oh boy.
Fortunately, my wife had picked everything she wanted out ahead of time.
Okay, so she just knew right where to go.
She had a list, and she just, went to the Cuisinart place, and she went to this place, and she just you pick up a little voucher for what you want, and then you take it to checkout. Yeah. A nice thing about the gift wrap giveaway is they do let families combine.
Oh yeah, I think you mentioned that last year. So okay.
So when we got the gift wrap, we combined all of our points, put it all on mine, and we ordered all of our stuff. And then whatever little extra you have that's not quite enough, you can get in gift cards.
Yeah, kind of like the old Wheel of Fortune. I'll take the rest in the gift certificate.
Yeah. So we got the rest in gas cards.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they give you the most, so you waste the least amount of money.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's kind of nice. Plus, it all gets delivered to one spot, which in our family is better because, my dad doesn't have to worry about anyone delivering something to his house. And my brother, who's not home a lot, he gets his stuff delivered. So that is a nice feature. But after we left the gift wrap up, we decided to go downtown. We left your mom and your sister there. Because they were waiting for the rest of the family, which my guess was at Hoover Dam.
They drove over Hoover Dam. They didn't go for the tour. They've done that before. But I think in Boulder City, there was a train that my dad wanted to see. He's a big train buff. So yeah, they headed over to that way. That's where they
saw
were
the
going.
train, and then when they texted, they were on the dam, on Hoover Dam.
Yeah.
And it's funny because your sister, Dana, told me that there was somebody, I guess she was driving, there was somebody behind them who, as they're going over the dam, is like honking to go faster. And when people were crossing and they were stopped, the guy was still honking like, come on, move it along. So you're going over Hoover Dam, to see this great sight.
Yeah.
And this is a new bridge.
Because they have a bridge now that you can go over, so you don't have to go on Hoover Dam. So if you're going over Hoover Dam, you're probably doing it to see it.
To see it.
Yes, right.
Not to
get to where you're going as fast as possible. Right.
Yeah, so this guy's honking the whole way. It's just people.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always somebody. It's
they got a bet to make.
Yep, I guess. I got to get back to the table. There's a football game. It was Saturday. There was football.
Okay, that was it. Yeah. Didn't want to get shut out.
Yeah. We left there and we headed downtown because we had some free play at Golden Nugget and some other things. So we went downtown, and in the process of getting my dad, from the parking structure into the casino and doing all this and getting our free play, and we had some free play at the D. By the time we got all this stuff and we headed back to Planet Hollywood, it had been 8 hours since I had woke up and placed.
That's rough.
Yeah.
That's
so I
rough.
woke up and went 8 hours without gambling.
That's rough, Dr. Mike.
Oh, it was miserable, Mark. Probably the worst possible scenario for me. But we did end up back at Planet Hollywood, which we played for just a very, very short time, and then we had to head out to dinner.
Right.
With your folks and sisters. So by the time we got back from dinner and all that, it actually was about 9:30 at night.
Okay, so 9:30 was when you really started to finally play seriously.
Seriously, yeah. Before that, it was a quick half hour.
Yeah.
So about 9:30 at night by the time I got back to play.
Yeah, now my sister Dana met you over at Planet Hollywood.
Right.
And I guess it didn't go too well.
She came that night. She lasted a couple of shooters. It was terrible.
Yeah. And she was even saying, too, that she did not care for the dealers. Yeah, I was talking to you earlier. Apparently, we usually have great dealers at Planet Hollywood. but apparently the crew that you got that night was not the greatest.
No, and the funny thing is that the people I played with before and that we played with, that one dealer who's so great,
right
and
back
she
at
remembered
the summit,
me, and she asked about you, and we were there. She was on another table; it was full. All the tables were full, and this was a quarter table.
Oh gosh!
Yeah, the four dealers, they were all men. They were very surly.
Oh, that's too bad.
Surly is the best way. They weren't mean.
Okay, right.
They just weren't friendly.
All right.
It was kind of like, do this, do that, like unatomic.
Okay.
They were something out of, Pirates of the Caribbean. Okay. That's basically what it was.
All right. Okay.
So anyway, we played there, we lost. And then I said to Dana, oh gosh, she got there. I was already losing. And I thought, well, this is it. So we all broke up and headed back.
And then I texted you and I basically said to you, okay, well, you're probably going to be playing through the night, I would imagine, right?
Yeah, right. That's what Mark said. But we headed back to Harrah's. We walked back to Harrah's. My wife went up to the room to go to bed. And I did play and actually caught a good roll towards the end. It's funny because David, our friend David, came by and he's like, oh, I didn't think you'd come back and go to sleep.
Yeah.
Because he was over at Planet Hollywood with us.
Yeah.
He headed over there and he's like, oh, yeah. So he stood and watched and, we did hit a good hand.
Okay,
and so
good.
he went to bed on a high note and left Vegas on a winning note, but not that great.
Yeah.
Couple side stories.
Okay.
That first night at Planet Hollywood, Andrew, our friend Andrew, who lives here in San Diego, he played with us a lot. It was me, him, and my wife. And then standing next to him, in between us, was this guy named Bob. And turns out he's a dentist. And so we called him Dr. Bob.
Okay.
And he was getting pretty drunk. We had some pretty hot rolls at times. And Dr. Bob kept making hardway bets for me and Andrew.
Oh, nice.
So he just kept putting hardways out for us.
You guys?
So,
were you betting the hardways anyway? Or?
Yeah, I was betting them too. And then he was just stacking them up. So I'd have like a $10 hard eight and he'd put 10 more. Sometimes I got up to like $30, $40. I hadn't even hit it yet.
Nice.
Unfortunately, not many hardways came.
Okay.
So it didn't work out so well. But it was nice of Dr. Bob. So if you're listening, Dr. Bob, thank you.
Yeah.
He was very nice. And Andrew was wonderful as usual.
Good.
We had a good time.
Good.
And the other thing I want to say, so on Saturday after your sister left and we were heading back to Harrah's, I said to Lynn, let's go down to the gift shop here at Planet Hollywood. It's a little bigger than the one at Harrah's. We wanted to buy the girls something.
Okay.
So we went down and we found some sweat jacket type things that Roxy brand, that young girls like. And we went to pay for them. And I said to the cashier, I want to put these on my room because I had that voucher. It's good for food
or the gift shop. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah.
So I was going to put that on the voucher for the room. And she said, oh, where are you at? Harrah's. What's your room number? So I told her 33021. So she does all this computer stuff. And she's like, there's no such room. And I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure it's 33021. She says, do you have any proof? So it just turned out that my wife actually had kept the thing when we checked in that they put the keys in.
Yeah, and they write the room
number on it. So she pulls it out, and here it is, 33021. And she's like, well, that's weird. And the manager comes over. They're going on and on. It's taking a while. I'm already upset because,
and why would they ask for proof if they can't act on it? Right. Okay, here's the proof. Right. Okay, well, what did the proof give them? Nothing.
Yeah, it proved I wasn't lying.
Okay, right.
That's it, right?
So you're
that there really is a room.
You won't be arrested. Yeah.
I'd already been most of the day without gambling, and here we are, and I'm thinking I'm down all this money, and we're stuck in the thing because So finally, I just frustratingly said, "Look, just take it out of my points. Forget about the room thing. Just take it out of my reward credits." They could tell I was a little perturbed.
Yeah,
but. They did. And that took seconds. And then we were out of there.
Yeah.
But, at one point she's like, oh, I'll just call over to Harrah's. I'm like, don't call Harrah's.
Oh, my gosh. How long would that take? To try to. Now, what do I press on the computer? Oh, yeah, that'd be. Yeah.
So anyway, evidently, since they renovated Harrah's, they don't have the new rooms in there.
Okay.
Because like I said, I think they combined rooms or took two rooms, made one room or whatever. Yeah. But she's like, well, do we have the right tower? And I'm like, we were in the Valley Tower, Valley, Valley Tower, they call it. And that was on the key fob too, Valley Tower.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, okay, Valley Tower. She's like, oh yeah, we know the Valley Tower. We have the code for that. It was just another mess. But evidently their computer system wasn't, quite up to snuff. And so that's pretty much how the trip went. And we got up Sunday morning real early. We didn't even play. We left.
Yeah, when I texted you were already on the road.
Yeah, we were on the road and headed home. And we got home early, got home in time to see the second football game.
Now, you had some free play at Harrah's, Southern California on Sunday. Did you stop at Harrah's on the way home?
We did not.
Now, why not?
Because I was exhausted.
Yeah.
I was exhausted because I
were anxious
very
to get
little
home.
sleep.
Yeah.
And, we went home and the Charger game started. I got home in time to see the Charger game.
Yeah.
I kind of slept through some of it. But, my dad wanted to. He's like, aren't we going to stop? And I'm like, no, we're not going to stop.
Now, tell me about the fire bet.
Oh, yeah. So, no fire bet at Cromwell.
So, the fire
we stopped
bet
in there and there was no fire bet. Now they have the all tall, all small there.
Yeah. The fire bet is virtually gone now from Las Vegas, at least as far as the Strip and downtown is concerned.
We know nowhere where that has that. Planet Hollywood just had the repeater.
Okay.
Harrah's had the repeater and the all tall, all small.
Okay, yeah.
Caesars has the repeater and the all tall, all small.
Okay, yeah.
But Cromwell just has the all tall, all small.
Okay,
and
yeah, it's dying. Fire. Well, at least we've hit it twice before it completely dies, and they've still got it out here at Harrah's, Southern California.
Yeah, I'm wondering when that's going to run out too. Yeah, I imagine eventually that's going to go too.
It could be. Well, speaking of Harrah's, Southern California, since everybody abandoned me and went to Las Vegas, Sherry and I went out there on Friday night. And it was dead. Everybody was in Las Vegas with you, Mike. I mean, I have never seen
We saw quite a few Harrah's people
that
there.
dead on a Friday night. So we played some craps. We went up to a table and I, made my bets and I immediately sevened out. And so I had Sherry roll the dice. She rolled 6 points, not a fire bet, 6 points, but 3 of them were 10s. Yeah. And that put us up for the night. And we hovered after that and then came home early. So I had a little bit of luck, even if maybe the lost. Because, nobody in my family won. They said that they all lost too. No. And it's kind of too bad. It sounds like as far as Vegas trips goes, not one of the best.
No, not one of the best. My wife won.
Good.
She won for the trip, $17.60.
Oh, good. Oh,
so
good.
that offset, nothing. But
all right, yeah. Well, we'll look towards the future and maybe we'll have some good luck here.
Maybe it's coming back.
Up. Yeah, hope so. Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. When we see people buying stuff, we really do appreciate it. All right, let's move on to our voicemail hotline. Remember, call our hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
And maybe we'll play your clip on the show. First up is Sunny.
Hey guys, it's Sunny in Sarasota once again. Wanting to do a Biloxi update real quick. It was a roller coaster ride, down, up, down, up, down, up again. I wound up being down just a little bit, but my goal going into this thing was hop in the sevens and hop in the hard ways. And I was successful in those 3 sevens coming out. Sevens, hop, 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 hippity hop. He had the crowd going for it. I actually hit it one time for a buddy of mine. $6 bet, 6 turns to 30, 30 turns to 150, 150 turns to 800. Very successful in that attempt. Got away from it, however, talking to my buddy about see a horn, bet a horn thing, and after each session, we'd like to collaborate to see what we're going to do. Got away with my hop sevens. I wound up rolling 3 hop sevens, 3 different occasions. I was only on it once, though, because I got away from my system from doing it. Should have stuck with the system. That's the moral of this story. But appreciate you guys, and happy holidays.
Yeah, you too, Sonny. Well, good. We're glad that you won. Just keep in mind, the any 7 or even hopping the 7.
Right.
It's a terrible bet. Huge house edge.
Right.
So one of the worst bets in the casino. It's great when it hits and, it's fun. I'm not going to say don't bet it. And, when it does repeat like that, it's great.
Well, it's good he starts with $6.
Yeah, right. So how much, how much can it hurt him? That's, probably what he's looking at. So yeah, that's good.
Right. Yeah. Because if you're betting a lot more the rest of the time, that $6 isn't going to hurt you too much.
Yeah, right.
So,
right.
I mean, even though it's a bad bet, it's fun.
Have fun. Yeah, have fun. All right, next up, Fred.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is listener Fred. If you remember, on November 10th at Harrah's Rincon, I introduced myself as the listener who talked to you about pooling our bets at Casino Royale for the 100 times odds. At any rate, it was nice meeting you guys, and it was very kind of you to invite me to join you at the table. I wasn't able to because I had another engagement, but I will collect that well drink one of these days. I want to tell you about my misadventures that I had at Harris Rincon on Veterans Day, Saturday, November 11th. I was at a council at the Bubble Craps terminal. I put in $100. After a few rolls, I was at about $157. So I was doing okay. And then this guy started on a roll. He was a brand new shooter. His friends were circling him, trying to give him advice, telling him about the craps games. And apparently he's never played craps. And so it was kind of fun watching him make money. But he was on a heater. I started off with 3-point Molly at $5 and increased it so I eventually had $75 across the board, including a pass line bet. And the guy was on a heater. You know, kept hitting and hitting and hitting. And eventually, I was up to about $320 in credits. And then I got a tap on the shoulder. There were two technicians wearing Rincon engineer smocks asking if they could open up my gaming terminal and extract a tool that they had left in there. And my question to them is, well, is this going to affect my bets? And they said, no, not at all. So I thought it was odd. I mean, after all, the guy was still rolling. It hadn't sevened out, and I had my bets on the console, but I'm like, okay, I don't want to be a jerk. So they lifted up the console, and then the guy just kept hitting 6 and 8 and 5s, just kept going. And I'm thinking, well, I'd be pressing my bets up, but what the hell, I've got I'm still making money on these bets, and must have been 15 rolls. These guys were really slow, but eventually they lowered the console, and then to my shock, I saw that all my bets were off. They had been off as soon as they left the console. At the time, I was like, okay, I'm still making money. What the hell? But then I just went ballistic when I discovered that all my bets were off, with the exception of the pass line. I think a 9, you can't cancel that bet, so it was still there. And I just went ballistic. I told them to call security. They eventually called a slot manager, and then I led into them and essentially said, these clowns have cost me hundreds of dollars because I never would have let them open up my console if my bets were off. In the meantime, the guy was still rolling. It was 5, 6, maybe 10 more rolls while I'm negotiating and just telling the slot manager what a ripoff this is. And before he sevened out, okay? So then the slot manager then flipped through the console, and then he saw what my historic bets were. And so he offered to, one, let me keep the $420 that I had on the machine that all my bets were off. He gave me the $75 that was on the layout, and he gave me a $100 voucher that I could use either for free play or spa or apparently there's service vouchers that the hotel's willing to do. I was irritated, but I didn't want to be a complete jerk, so I took that offer. And so I just want to let your listeners know, if you're in the middle of a heater or until you 7 out, don't ever let any slot technician touch your machine in shoot to win craps. So that's my adventure, but I want to let you know that's what happened the day after I saw you guys. Thanks.
Yeah, this is just a misunderstanding on both sides.
Yeah.
Because Fred asked, he said that, will this affect my bets?
And you know what? The technicians probably had no clue.
Right. Well,
they had no clue whether it would affect his bets or not.
Well, here's the thing. What Fred is really asking is, will my bets continue to work?
Right.
While you have this opened up with the dice, will they continue to win and lose?
Right.
He said, will these affect my bets? The technicians are thinking, oh, no, you won't lose any money.
Right.
The number of credits that you have will stay out there. All the bets will still be there exactly as they were when we close the terminal, right? So Fred is just saying, will these affect it? And so there's a misunderstanding on both sides. So Fred thinks that he's gotten the answer that he wants. The technicians have given the answer that, oh, yeah, you're not going to lose any money on this, which is true. That's what they're thinking. Oh, no, you're not going to lose any money.
Yeah, what they should have said is, yeah, your bets will stay the same, but they won't win or lose while this is open.
Right. If they knew that.
Just like a regular slot machine.
See, but that's the thing, is that like a regular slot machine, when they open it up, nothing's happening. Right? The slot isn't going. It's like video poker. It's not continuing to play. It's not one of these communal games, right?
The game still continues in this case.
So they're probably used to answering the question, oh no, you'll still have the same amount of money there for just
Right.
regular slots where it really won't matter.
Right.
So I think a misunderstanding on both sides. I think that the slot manager actually handled it well. I thought that it was pretty good. Gets all of Fred's money back plus $100 voucher. I think that's fair, to be
Yeah.
honest with you.
Well, because it'd be too hard to go through and say
and
you know,
everything. And
you might have not done that. What if you had changed your bet or upped it or taken some
Right,
back?
it could have been
or-
back, or the guy could have sevened out while it was
Right,
open too, and then
right.
you get your money back. So it was just a misunderstanding on both sides for sure. Yeah,
Well, the technicians, though, it's probably another example of a casino person giving you an answer without really understanding.
well, and not understanding the craps game that things are going to be continuing to go,
Right,
and
right.
so. But again, you just got to be careful about what you're asking because they're going to give you the answer that they think you want to hear,
Right.
And they're thinking, oh yeah, no, you'll have all your money still. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's just too bad.
It's just unfortunate
Yeah,
that it happened then, right?
yeah.
And the moral of the story is I wouldn't let anyone touch my machine until there's a 7 out.
yeah, and that's what Fred is saying too.
Especially,
yeah, so,
especially if it's not a problem.
yeah. Right. Yeah, you're right. It wasn't a problem. Hey, we left a tool in there.
Yeah, it wasn't like there's a problem, like
Yeah.
your machine was malfunctioning,
Yeah,
right? It was just like, oh, we left a tool. in there.
But that is a good moral. It's like, well, no, either I wait for the
just
7
have a
out,
seat, buddy, and wait for the
or I'm
7
going to
out.
cash out and I'm out of here.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like a fill on a table, right? When the guy brings a fill to a real craps table, they don't stop in the middle of a hand. They wait for the 7 out.
They
and
wait
then
for a 7
do-
out before they
do
fill the
it.
chips. Yeah, that's
so
true.
I think
Yeah.
they would have waited if you'd said,
Yeah.
"Oh, please wait till the 7 out."
Yeah, sure.
you know.
Because they left that tool in there. I mean, how
Yeah.
critical is that? At the moment, well,
Right.
I don't know. Maybe it's dangerous. I don't know.
You're not a mechanic.
no, I'm not. That's
Hey, I
good.
was listening to a radio show the other day, and the guy actually said, "Well, I'm not an attorney, but he still ventured a guess."
I just say
as to the
that
question.
all day long, no matter where I am. I'm
Yeah.
ordering at a restaurant. Well, I'm not an attorney, but I'll take the salmon.
Yeah.
Just it's clear then in that case.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Next up is Frank.
Hi, this is Frank in Virginia. I just wanted to give you guys a trip report from Black Friday at the MGM Grand in Maryland. I went down there in the morning, and there were 3 open tables, and they were all full. It was interesting. There's a lot of people playing there. So I went up to this table, and there were 2 guys playing the don't there, and the table was cold, and so I started playing with them. And there was a period where it went, nobody made a point in like 10 tries. So, I went from a $150 lay to about a $450 lay. But the funniest thing was the guy at the other end was yelling, "Give me a my 6." And I said to the guy next to me, "Yeah, 6 and an ace in your face," which I got from you guys. And of course it came up and I ended up walking out about an extra $2,000 in a couple hours. So I wanted to thank you for 6 and an ace in your face, and I think I'm probably going to make betting on the donut on Black Friday morning a tradition. At least if I can keep it up starting next year. Thanks for the show. It's great.
Okay, good. Yeah, Black Friday morning.
Yeah.
Bet the don't.
Well, that's good advice.
That's
I
just
think.
smart.
Yeah.
That's just
Yeah.
smart craps. Yeah,
Smart
I'll go
craps.
along with that.
Or for me, anytime.
Yeah, you'd probably
smart,
make
yeah.
a little more money. That's true. All right, next up is Mike with just confirmation on what we learned last episode about cruise ships and that weird $6 minimum bet on the blackjack table.
All right.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Mike from Indiana. First time calling in. I wanted to comment on the cruise ship where the guy said that the minimum bet was $6, and I went on a Princess cruise a few years back, and that was the same case. But they let you bet $5 on the main bet, and then $1 up on the side bet for your minimum $6. The other funny thing I saw on that cruise ship, all the tables, or most of the tables were 6 to 5. There were some 3 to 2, but it was a $10 minimum bet. And one guy, he bought in for probably about $1,000. He was playing $100 a hand, sitting down at the 6 to 5 table. And I was thinking, hell, buddy, why don't you just go on over to the table there across the way for $10, and then you get paid to get 3 to 2. But I just kind of watched him play there. I don't remember if he won or lost, but I just wanted to give you guys just a quick update on those cruise ships and that minimum bet. Love the podcast. You guys are great, and talk to you soon. Thanks.
Yeah, just because a guy is betting with a lot of money doesn't mean that he's a smart bettor. Wouldn't you agree with that, Dr. Mike?
Next question.
All right, let's go to our last call then from Marty. Actually, no, just kind of backing up here. You do see that kind of thing. Like, just
Yeah,
go
all
a
the
table
time.
over. Oh, my
Yeah.
gosh, you'd be up so much more
All
money.
the time.
Yeah, so-
By the way, when we were driving into Vegas, there was a sign, and I, for the life of me, cannot remember what casino it was, but they were making a big deal out of the fact that all their blackjack tables pay 3 to 2.
I think it was South Point. Wasn't that what you said? Yeah, you saw it in Baker.
Point. Yeah,
right?
you saw it just outside of Baker.
Yeah.
Yeah, all their tables pay 3 to 2.
Well, South Point is kind of a locals joint.
Right.
I mean, certainly there are Vegas tourists that go there, but
Right.
it's on the outskirts.
It's on the outskirts.
So,
but, evidently casinos in Vegas understand
yes.
what the public wants.
Yes, they do
Right.
understand.
And they understand. It's not like, we have some 6-5, some 3 to 2. South Point knows.
They know what the smart gambling public wants.
Right.
Yes.
And that they're trying to get those people there. Kudos to them.
Yes. Yes. All right. Last call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. It's Marty from Northern California. A couple of things. Hey, I just got to listen to the show with Elle's big win. That was a great story. You need to have her on more often. Just a great story. Glad to hear when people kind of take a bite out of a casino. So good for her. A couple of things. Somebody was asking about a place to learn crafts. I guess somebody is staying at Caesars. Every morning at the Cromwell, they do a craft session on the table right up in the front, kind of table number 3 there in the front, the one that's nearest to the Flamingo. It's every morning at 10 a.m. So please relay that on. And I am going to be in for a very quick 10-hour trip in and out of Vegas on Sunday. Like you, Dr. Mike, I have to collect my great gift wrap-up points and some stuff. So just kind of a quick in and out for the day. My guess is you're going to be playing at Caesars, so I'm going to look for you, or I may try to tweet you and see where you're playing and come up and say hello. Anyway, love the show, guys. It's just it's the highlight every 2 weeks when you guys are on. Have a great one. Talk to you later.
Yeah, thanks, Marty. Sounds like you just left too early on Sunday to meet up with him. Yeah.
And had I been up, we probably would have stayed and left later in the morning.
Sure,
and we might have been
course.
at Harris. But no, it was such a bad trip. It's like, you just got to get out of town.
Yeah,
I didn't even want to play that more, honestly.
No, I understand.
I thought, why I made a little bit of it back. Why lose that?
Yeah, no,
right?
I understand. Good news about Cromwell, though, craps lessons at 10 a.m.
Yes,
we didn't know about that one. So
no,
that's
and we've
good.
been there early in the morning before.
Yeah, I think we have. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I didn't see lessons or a sign for it before, but it's good to know at least they do it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we better wrap this up because you're under the weather as usual. We
Yeah, I
can
don't
hear
know
you
why I got
coughing
another
and
cold.
sniffing and
Yeah.
everything like that.
Ah.
By the next episode, I should be 7 stars. And
Yeah,
I'm not,
that is
we're
nice.
not doing anything tricky. I'm just betting a little more aggressively than I normally do. And if we go this weekend, I'll probably hit it. So I'm
You'll be
looking
a
forward to
7-star.
That'll be nice.
There'll be a new glow on the show.
Also, you and I talked about this. We really should try over this holiday break to just take a day and hit a lot of the Southern California casinos that we've never been to.
Yeah.
If we just go up and go along Interstate 10, we can hit a bunch of them.
Yeah, San Manuel.
Well, go to San Manuel first, which is kind of off.
They sent me a voucher for $400 free play.
Really? You've
Yes.
never played there?
Never been there ever. They
Huh.
sent me a voucher for $400.
I wonder if they're associated with any. I wonder how they got your
How'd they
name.
get my name and address?
All right.
I'd like to know.
All right, we'll look into that. We'll look into that. But yeah, San Manuel and then go to Interstate 10 and go down there. So hopefully we can do all that stuff. So,
All right.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that. All right, we want to thank some people for some PayPal donations. First of all, Jesse, he says, have been a fan since the early days. Ooh, with all our bad audio and it sounds like a bathroom. And appreciate what you guys do. Karma donation as I'm taking my family to Vegas December 5th through the 8th. So that's already, they're right now while we're recording that. Hopefully they're having a good trip. Also taking my company to Argentina for a holiday party where we will play craps on the Riverboat Casino November 28th through December 3rd. So they're probably back from that already.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
We'd like to get an Argentina report.
Yeah, let us know how that went, Jesse. Also, a donation from David. He says, thanks for all the great gambling content. Here are a few hard ways or a couple of well drinks. Cheers. I think it's going to be hard ways.
Yeah,
I'll just
hard
be honest
ways.
with you right there. Also, from Brooke and Steve, they say a karma donation for an upcoming trip to celebrate Steve's 40th birthday and Brooke's recent graduation from graduate school. Oh, thank you. And congratulations.
to
That's
both of
great.
you.
Oh, that's
Yes.
nice. Also, we got a nice letter from listener Greg. He sent us a donation after he made a bet against the Chargers for us
Right.
that lost.
That
It was
lost.
like one of the first wins. So
Let's not even talk
he
about
just
they're
sent
having
us
a good
donation.
year. Yeah.
That's all right. Hey, be sure to check out our TV listing showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks. We update those listings every Wednesday using a customized program that searches through all the raw American TV data. Just go to youcanbetonThat.com/TV-listings. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS. Or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at You Can Bet On That and on Facebook at facebook.com/You Can Bet On That. Finally, please go to your favorite podcast app and write a review on us. We love getting your feedback. Anything more about your trip, Mike, or something else?
Yeah, while I was there, I made no football bets. There were all those college games.
You asked
were
me.
like
I wasn't really interested.
I made no football bets. So I didn't bet anything on the Chargers or any NFL teams or nothing. I don't know why. Just never even occurred to me.
Okay, all right.
I made no football bets, which is unusual because bowl games are coming up and stuff. Although I was a little early, the bowl games hadn't been announced.
Right.
Yeah, it was just curious. It's just a weird trip. In a lot of respects, it was a very weird trip.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Even talking with my family too, just it was a quick trip. That was a lot of it. It was a very quick turnaround trip. So yeah, but
even that, we usually, when it's quick, we usually gamble quite a bit.
Yeah.
There just wasn't a lot of gamble. I don't know. It was just one thing led to another.
An odd one. All right.
Yeah, an odd trip.
All right.
Yeah. So strike that from your record.
All right. So strike it from the record. And the next trip that is absolutely going to happen is you going to Horseshoe, Southern Indiana, right, for a wedding.
Yeah.
Right. So that's
hopefully, March 10th.
All right. So that's the next one. We may have some trips before then, but that's the next one for sure. You're going to.
For sure, I'm going to that wedding. Yeah, we have to go to that wedding.
All right.
It's a close relative.
Very good. All right. Anything else?
I got nothing.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Good night.